So friends, what is NPA and its effect on market price? In merger and acquisition chapter, we have to cover a question based on NPA, non-performing assets. So let me explain you in simple language. Whenever bank gives loan to some party and that party defaults in loan repayment or interest payment, then it is considered as an NPA for bank. So definitely every company will wants to keep its NPA as low as possible. So its effect on share price is very simple. If there is more than expected NPA for any bank, if there are more bad debts, more provisions, principal repayment is defaulting, party is not paying interest on time, more than expected NPA figure is there for any bank, then the share price of that bank will fall. Yes friend, let's now see it practically. A non-performing asset refers to a classification for loans or advances that are in default or in arrears. A loan is in arrears when principal and interest payments are late or missed. A loan is in default when the lender considers the loan agreement to be broken, debtor is unable to meet his obligations. Fine sir. So government to set up bad bank to clear NPA mess. In India, NPA is a big problem. Gross NPA of banks likely to cross 10 lakh crore by March 2022. So it is a very big amount, and definitely it is not a good news for overall economy, for our country performance. This is really a very bad news. And for the banks who have given such loan, definitely their share price will fall with such news. What is the gross NPA? Gross NPA is not the actual loss. It includes provision that bank is estimating that this party may default, this party may default. So it will include in gross NPA, but net NPA will be actual real loss to the bank. Fine sir. Net NPA is equals to gross NPA minus provisions. You can remember this equation. Net NPA is equals to gross NPA minus provision. So one such bank was PNB, which gave loan to Gitanjali Gems, Nirav Modi, and you know the history. The loan was not repaid on time. It went defaulted. The company went into liquidation, and there was so much bad news regarding this. Punjab National Bank admits loan default of over 25,000 crore. So it is really a bad news for Punjab National Bank. You can see the share price of PNB, and we have practically proved that if there is a loan default of such a magnitude, such an amount, then definitely the share price of the company will fall. PNB had given loan to Gitanjali Gems. The owner of Gitanjali Gems was Nirav Modi. So Gitanjali Gem defaulted in loan repayment. So you can see the share price of Gitanjali Gems, it failed drastically. So the shareholder of Gitanjali Gems were also in loss. The shareholder of PNB was also in loss. So who was benefited by this all arrangement? The one who had that loan amount which was given by PNB to Gitanjali Gems. It was nearly around 11,000 crore. So Gitanjali Gems share price closed 20% lower on PNB's 11,000 crore float. You can see that if a party defaulted in loan payment, then it's really a bad news for the company, for the economy as a whole. So let's see the video of that situation when this news broke out, and what was the commentary, what was the news going around at that time, so that we can understand, we can frame our opinion, we can have more knowledge regarding all this NPA, so that whenever you be a executive of bank, you be a CFO of any company, you must understand all these things, because these are a part of risk management. In risk management, we study all these scenarios, that whether to give loan to other party or not, what are the documents which you have kept, what are the guarantees which is given by the other party. Otherwise, if it will not be controlled, then you can see the share price. What is the mistake of those small shareholders, innocent shareholders who have invested in the share price? They are nowhere now. Nobody is thinking of them. The company defaulted, no audit report, nothing else, nothing has been scrutinized, and this is the thing which we are seeing. So definitely regulators must watch all these things and be more alert in future, so that this problem never arise in future. So let's play a video to make your knowledge, to make your understanding to next level. Fine, sir.
The first reaction that is coming in from the government on the reported fraud at Punjab National Bank PNB, a $1.77 billion fraud via transaction as 30% of the bank's market capitalization. Let me go across to Neha Bothra for this story. Neha, we've heard what the government has had to say, that the necessary steps will be taken in this fraud, which is related to transactions. What exactly is it that we know when it comes to the PNB fraud? And when was this that it took place?
It's indeed a worrisome Wednesday for Punjab National Bank stakeholders. A double whammy. On one hand, you have the new NPA rules, and now you have this disclosure of a fraudulent transaction worth about 11,400 crore that has come to light. Clearly, it's battered the stock in trade today. More importantly, there are lots of questions that are unanswered. One is, when did the transactions take place, and what was the time gap between the transaction taking place and it being reported? Because clearly 11,400 crore is a pretty large sum of amount, and I've been speaking with insiders of the bank who are not sure if this panned out over a couple of months or if it was something that was one big transaction. And more importantly, I'd like to draw your attention to an important point in the disclosure, which says that this transaction also influenced other banks to extend money to the concerned parties overseas. So this raises a big question: if there are more banks involved, and what really is the total amount of fraud we are talking about? These are all important questions that show gaping holes as far as the entire corporate governance in the bank is concerned, because as per the laws, once such a transaction takes place, it has to be alerted, the system has to be alerted, but clearly there have been lapses which have contributed to this scale of fraud at Punjab National Bank. We still await more clarity. But of course, the matter has been referred to investigative agencies who are now looking into the matter. But there are lots of unanswered questions, and these are the questions that Punjab National Bank will have to answer sooner than later.
Oh yes, we'll await those comments from the management, of course. As of now, big question marks remain. Thanks very much, Neha, for filling us in with those details. Let's bring on board Hemendra Hazari as well. And Hemendra, how are you looking at, a development like this? We're seeing a massive sell-off, of course, in the stock price of a Punjab National Bank, but we're talking about a fraud to the tune of 11,000 odd crore rupees, nearly 30% of PNB's market cap.
No, it is a very alarming and shocking figure. And, it really speaks very poorly for PNB that it could have such a thing happen in its bank. Now, this is an aspect which most media and analysts really don't look at, which are the off-balance sheet items of banks. And in this, I must also point out that you will find that the new private sector banks have a much higher off-balance sheet items as the size of their balance sheet compared to PSU banks. And I just hope that, you do not have similar things exploding in other banks, both in the government sector as well as among some of these new private sector banks. So I think this one should be extremely careful, because there is not adequate disclosure on really off-balance sheet items. And that is where, there is a huge potential for fraud, for evergreening, And this is something which analysts must start now, quizzing the senior management of banks. So what exactly is happening in the off-balance sheet space?
Right. Hemendra, when you get such announcement, maybe the financial impact is limited or, what happens. But then it always brings up the possibility of more such happenings coming in, even in other banks. And that's why you're seeing PSU index down. And plus, then you had the RBI norms also being changed. So all of that coming together?
Yeah, I think a perfect storm is brewing for the banking sector. And the government banks appear to be in the eye of the storm. Because even this RBI norms, although on paper it sounds very nice that you're going to get a cleanup, it will entail really huge provisions and therefore huge losses for the banks which have a lot of this type of bad debts. And these principally will be with the government banks. One thing you must also realize is that when fraud is detected in new private sector banks, they're very rarely reported. While in PSU banks, because of their systems, they have to report it. They have to file FIRs. In many cases, and these are something which I'm also currently investigating, in private sector banks, particularly new private sector banks, the frauds are all quietly hushed up and the concerned individual is quietly made to resign and with a hefty payoff. They will very rarely, you will find new private sector banks filing FIRs or, issuing a press release when there is fraud. There is fraud which even takes place there. But in the public sector, they are mandated that they have to make it public and they have to file an FIR, which is a very healthy, transparent practice. And though it has to be condemned, the internal systems in PNB has to be condemned. Investors and the public should realize that all these things also happen in new private sector banks, but it's all very quietly hushed up.
Right, Hemendra. Thank you so much for your perspective. Look forward to seeing more once we get this developing story and more details about what has happened to this 11,000 crores.